On April 15th, 2020, TwoSetViolin released a video titled Violin versus Recorder, in which they compared various aspects of the violin and the recorder. This video received substantial backlash from viewers who believed TwoSetViolin was misrepresenting the recorder and using insulting stereotypes, and has even led to professional recorder players such as Sarah Jeffries and Lucy Horsch making response videos. Almost a month after the initial video, TwoSet reacted to Sarah and Lucy's response videos, seemingly putting the recorder debacle to rest. However, less than 2 weeks later, on May 22nd, TwoSet released a video titled Violin versus Opera Singer in the exact same format as the recorder video, leading viewers to be concerned that drama will flare up again, this time in the opera singer community. TwoSet fans seem to be split into two camps. Those who are concerned that Brett and Eddie's exaggerated stereotyping of different musicians will cause anger and division in the music community, and those who say that all of their videos are just harmless jokes that shouldn't be taken seriously. This worrying trend of videos has no end in sight, which begs the question, has TwoSetViolin's humor gone too far? First of all, let's dive into the original recorder video and its response videos to see what issues recorder players took with it. The overarching issue was that TwoSet's video misrepresented the recorder with false information. Unlike for the violin, they didn't even try to get any details about the recorder right. Of course, the number one defense TwoSet and their fans used was that nothing was meant to be serious, as seen in TwoSet's reaction video.
Look, let's just make a real clear disclaimer straight up. Our intention was just to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't even occur to us the idea that we might make recorder players feel like we think they're not a proper instrument.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we just never thought they weren't a proper instruments.
Yeah.
However, I've watched both Sarah's and Lucy's videos in their entirety, and I thought it was very suspicious that TwoSet cut out what I believe is the number one takeaway from Sarah's video.
It's just, in general, the joke of violins hating on recorders isn't the most original. And if you're going to compare two instruments, but you can only play one, then your joke doesn't really make sense. Recorders and violins, just as good as each other, but you have to know what you're doing.
I think it's strange that TwoSet didn't include this part of the video, considering how much Sarah emphasized that point. We'll never know why they did. Maybe they only wanted to watch the recorder technique. Maybe they didn't want to drag the mood of the video down. Or based on the fact that they did this again, they're not ready for the conversation that comes with making this type of content.
I don't think TwoSetViolin actually meant it to be that deep, to be honest. The only thing is, I think if I had an audience of 2 million people, maybe I would want to think a bit more carefully about my videos, but that's just me.
Let's replay TwoSet's disclaimer statement in their reaction video.
It didn't even occur to us the idea that we might make recorder players feel like we think they're not a proper instrument.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we just never thought they weren't a proper instruments.
Yeah.
Notice that they said it never occurred to them that they could be spreading this kind of message, simply because they didn't believe it themselves. There's this quote I really like that says, "We judge ourselves by our intentions, but we judge others by their actions." I tried to find who said it, but it seems like everyone who ever existed said it at some point. Going back to the quote, Brett and Eddie think that their video is fine because they don't think they're being offensive. But the hundreds of thousands of people who watch the video can't read their minds. The amount of positive thoughts and experiences they have about the recorder doesn't matter at all if none of them are conveyed in the final product.
I just remembered I did once play with a professional recorder player at
Yeah.
a concert at Sydney. But I was really impressed. I was like, whoa, recorder like concerto. And the projection was pretty on point in the classical, in the recital hall.
What we got was an almost 3-minute video full of misinformation and untrue stereotypes that weren't even indicated as such, meaning that non-musicians or even musicians unfamiliar with the recorder could easily believe these jokes to be the truth. If I had only watched this video without any prior knowledge of the recorder, it wouldn't be a stretch for me to believe that recorders have no range, or dynamics, or respect.
He's a professional recorder player.
TwoSet is one of the most prominent classical music channels on YouTube, and they are a lot of people's first exposures to many aspects of the classical music world. This comes with the responsibility of representing all classical musicians fairly, which they're having a hard time doing at the moment.
The only thing is, I think if I had an audience of 2 million people, maybe I would want to think a bit more carefully about my videos, but that's just me.
Of course, I can't just crap all over TwoSet's videos and call it a day without proposing ideas on how they can avoid causing this type of drama. Unless this type of drama is what TwoSet wants, When they roasted recorders, the recorder gang responded, which gave them roasting material to react to, which is perfect for their brand. They could potentially copy and paste this formula for every other instrument they want to diss, and that's what it seems like they're doing. However, causing drama by producing uninformed content and waiting for a response isn't really good for their image, nor does it reflect well on classical musicians. However, I'm absolutely not saying that they shouldn't roast people. Roasting people is what made them famous. Roasting people is what the fans love and come back for. Telling them not to roast at all is too extreme and just isn't right, not to mention it would make two-setters unhappy. In fact, I recognize that making this video is already very risky, and I wonder how much trouble I'm going to get into. But there is a right way to roast, and a wrong way to roast, and TwoSet have already demonstrated this with past videos separate from the whole violin versus blank mess. Allow me to demonstrate. Let's look at TwoSet's most successful roasting videos. Ben Lee, Bob Dylan, every single Chinese drama ever. I absolutely love these videos, but what do these videos have in common? Alright, time's up. The answer is, they all have to do with the violin. The reason why the Ben Lee video catapulted TwoSet into fame basically overnight is because Brett and Eddie are professional violinists who know what they're talking about. These dudes were straight up shredding on national TV, and people didn't know or care until TwoSet talked about how to actually play fast. The same applies to all the other violin roast videos. They're enjoyable because we can trust that Brett and Eddie can give us accurate information about the violin, while making it funny. I've previously stated that TwoSet not only represents classical violinists on the internet, but their videos also reflect on the entire classical music community. Are they not allowed to talk about other instruments if they don't play them? No, they definitely can, and they've done it well. For example, they invited professional cellists to review a movie about cellists. A side note about the video, it was weird how Brett and Eddie were taken aback by how nice the cellists were, and they kept trying to steer the conversation towards roasting. But that's a whole other can of worms I might make another video about. Back to consulting professional opinions, they also frequently invite Olaf the luthier to talk about anything having to do with violin building. They even have an entire series of beginner versus pro videos that properly showcase other musicians' talents. And they even have one for opera singers, the people they just made a questionable video about. I guess they also made a video complimenting Lucy's recorder playing, so that's some evidence that they kinda respect the recorder? Anyways, back to my point.
Holy crap. Oh my god.
Well, there you go. It's a legitimate professional career.
What I'm saying is that TwoSet definitely knows how to properly deliver a roast, as well as respect other musicians. Now I'm going to point out some mistakes TwoSet have made in the past and what could be learned from them. They've already grown and developed their content since these videos were made, but they can definitely do even better than they are now. One rather controversial video was when they reviewed Jay Chou's piano video. People took issue with TwoSet not doing their research about the movie before they reviewed it. The director and star of the movie, Jay Chou, is a professional musician who is very skilled at the piano, and he took special care to hire musicians to genuinely play in the movie. It was very tone-deaf, music pun not intended, for TwoSet to grasp at straws to find bones to pick, especially since they aren't professional pianists themselves. After that video, they seem to have listened to their audience and haven't made a piano roasting video since. They can definitely roast a piano movie properly if they found another movie with actual dubious piano playing and invited a professional pianist such as Sophie to review it. I've wanted to talk about this other video for a while now because I think it doesn't have a good message. People seem to love it, and I feel like the only person in the world taking issue with this roast video, but here goes. I'm talking about World's Most Impressive and Useless Records, made a little over a year ago. I feel like when they reviewed these records, they completely missed the point with all of them.
He's hyping it up because he realizes once he actually starts doing it, it's going to be so musically boring.
Oh, so it has to sound good now.
Yeah.
At least it has to sound rhythmic.
Yeah.
And you can do even playing with keys. Set the rules, guys.
You can do it while actually playing music. You know, I take this back. This is a very relevant and meaningful achievement. Very artistic, very, I don't know, I think humanity needs such achievements.
We do need things like this to keep our life interesting sometimes. So,
Thank you.
None of these records ever claim to be musical. If snapping your fingers is considered musical, so is clapping your hands or twitching your leg or any other rhythmic movement that humans do. It sounds like they're trying to copy and paste their Bumblebee roast about lack of musicality and trying to apply it to a completely different situation that it doesn't fit in.
Why does he have to do this? Like, does that reduce like amount of body mass or something so your pitch can get like? Do you have to hear the C sharp or something? Does that work?
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Like you can. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Why is he blocking it? I'll just pause and ask, why is he squatting?
Spat on me. Yuck. That's so disgusting.
Sorry. But why is he squatting?
Bro,
Like the
velocity,
the
man.
thrust.
The gravity, like, it's all in the motion of the body.
I'm no record holder, but if you're going to attempt to do something that no humans on Earth can top, I highly doubt these guys are doing weird stuff for no reason. I'm not a professional singer myself, but per my experience singing, blocking one ear allows you to hear yourself in your head and sing more accurately, especially if you're in front of a giant live audience without an in-ear. The snapping guy seems to be squatting to lower his center of gravity to remain more stable while his arms are undergoing rapid motion, I think. I barely passed physics, so take my words with a mound of salt. But these dudes aren't looking stupid for seemingly no reason at all. But the biggest issue I have with this video is that while TwoSet are spending their time roasting these record holders with no basis and for no good reason, everyone in the comment section loves it and completely buys TwoSet's argument that these records are useless and look stupid, and the guys who spend all their time and energy pursuing their records are useless and look stupid.
Someone like the best soloists in the world today could easily break these records.
I think so, for sure.
Like Hilary Hahn could play Flower on Bumblebee in like under 50 seconds. Probably.
Exactly.
But just like they don't want to.
Because
There's no reason to.
no, it brings so much excitement.
They've turned this idea of world record from like great human achievement to like a business for publicity stunts and corporate promotion, which is why a lot of them are so ridiculous, because the more weird, the more clicks. It's clickbait, but with like human achievement.
Wow, great way to steer humanity in a fantastic and useful direction.
Are these records really weird? Definitely, I'm not denying that. But are they useless? Is any world record useless just because you don't like it? No. All world records push the bounds of human capability, and mean a lot to the people who try to earn them. In fact, if anyone should understand how it feels to have your hobbies and passions degraded because other people thought they were useless, it should be the two Asian musicians who persisted with their careers despite societal and familial pressure. Now, why did I spend so long ranting about a 1-year-old video that everyone has forgotten about? I included this rant that I wanted to make into a separate video for months now, because I feel that it clearly demonstrates how much power TwoSet holds over their audience's opinions. If people came across any of these world record clips randomly on the internet, I'm sure most of them would think they're cool. This dude can snap his fingers real fast? Weird flex, but hella impressive. All of the comments under the original videos are memes. But because these two classical musicians said that it's weird and useless, everyone under their reaction video is talking about the uselessness of these records instead of how impressive it is that they can do them at all. Now replace world record holder with pop musician, or recorder player, or opera singer, or viola player. Hopefully you see my point.
TwoSetViolin's, you guys used to be funny. Now it's just viola bashing. That's not comedy. That's harassment. You guys think you're so good because you played the violin?
We never thought we were good at the violin. No, actually, you know what? We love violas. Viola gang, respect. Yeah, we love you. This is becoming more political now. But it was just a joke.
During this whole violin versus blank video saga, there seems to be an interesting stream of discourse taking place. Recorder players should get a grip. Viola players have been taking these insults since forever. Haha, the recorder players were so offended. Us opera singers are really chill about this. All these different musicians seem to be competing with each other on how well they can take a little joke. And if you don't like TwoSet's video, it's not their fault that they're spreading misinformation about you. It's your fault that you're a wimpy crybaby. There's a point in the comment section that's worth highlighting. Musicians like violists and opera singers don't have to worry about the impact of musician insults because at the end of the day, the general public will still regard them as legitimate musicians with real talents and real jobs, Recorder players still have to deal with the stigma of playing an instrument that everyone squeaked on at some point in elementary school, and videos like TwoSet's definitely do not help their reputation. TwoSet thought they were engaging in a fun little roast battle with the professionals, but the professional recorder players were requesting basic respect. A dilemma like this raises the question: how should TwoSet tell musical jokes on their channel following the recorder drama? Are all music jokes fair game simply because violas have been roasted since forever on TwoSet's channel and all other instruments have to sit down and shut up? What about past videos in which TwoSet roasted singers, viola players, or any other type of musicians? Do those make the newer videos okay? TwoSetViolin have been on YouTube since 2014, but they've only gotten big in the past 1 or 2 years. Before they got big, even while they were getting big, the people who found TwoSet's channel were guaranteed to be music nerds who would understand all the music jokes TwoSet made. For example, that old singer roast video that I was talking about was based on TwoSet's experiences in university, so they're already safe because they're speaking from personal experience. But also the people who would understand this the most are people who have also been to music university. Viola jokes have also been in the music world for hundreds of years before TwoSet, so musicians watching TwoSet's videos would understand them too. But as TwoSet's roast videos expanded their audience to include new musicians, non-musicians, and most importantly, impressionable children, telling all these viola jokes without context is making them less of jokes and more of a truth. You may have heard the unfortunate quote saying that if something is repeated enough, people will believe it to be the truth. In fact, someone who watches my videos requested that I discuss this issue because they've seen comments under TwoSet's videos wishing death upon all viola players. This surely can't be TwoSet's intent with their jokes, nor would they want their names associated with fans like these, but you can't deny that the unending jokes without a fair representation of viola talent definitely helps develop fans like these. I know there are plenty of fans out there who want to complain that nobody can make jokes on the internet nowadays because everybody will get offended. And I want to tell them this: TwoSetViolin have unfortunately grown too big for them to crack musician jokes willy-nilly without seriously considering the potential impact of their words on people's impressions of classical music. They aren't two dudes cracking jokes with their musician friends anymore. They are internet icons, with the ability to influence hundreds of thousands of people with every post. Freedom of speech doesn't grant you freedom from how people respond to your speech. So here it is, the most important takeaway from my video. What can TwoSet do right now to fix this issue? Number 1, roast when you know what you're talking about. Don't base your roasts on a lack of research, stereotypes, or exaggerations. Number 2, if you want to talk about something you're not an expert in, invite an expert instead of trying to pull something yourself. We all know how the past few times went. And number 3, if you want to roast an instrument because it's commonplace in the music community to do so, make sure to have an equal amount of positive exposure to the instrument as well. But TwoSet already have the Beginner vs. Pro series, and that one video with Lucy in it. Well, how about all the videos TwoSet made to praise violin playing, specifically to counteract all their videos roasting violin playing, even though it's very obvious that TwoSet love the violin.
Hey guys, so I know recently we've been doing a lot of roasting videos, but today is going to be slightly different.
Part of the reason we're making this is because I think the videos we're about to react to might help inspire you guys as much as it did to us. At the end of the day, the reason we made this channel is to help inspire people to play classical music, to learn about classical music, and to pick up an instrument.
I think all other musical instruments could appreciate that same defensiveness and positive energy. For example, that violin versus recorder video that started everything, it completely could have been a beginner versus pro video. They don't have one for the recorder yet. I know you can't meet in person right now, but I'm sure Sarah or Lucy would be very happy to arrange something if you wanted to do it. And you know what I think a lot of people would appreciate? If you invited a professional violist to your channel and unironically appreciated them. Invite a professional violist without only using them as a laughingstock.
Viola.
What did you say?
Viola.
Try to compliment a violist without it being a punishment.
They will have to post on their Instagram stories about how much they love the viola.
And really elaborate on it.
Oh, no.
The viola.
Or a backhanded compliment.
No. There's no way a violist can make a sound like that. No. I call Photoshop.
I call autotune.
It's probably all.
Her voice is nice. Balances perfectly.
I bet she's a violinist.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
violinist.
she's a violinist.
And for God's sake, please don't do this.
Hey everyone, just a shout out to the violists. I really love viola, I actually really do, and I know a lot of people joke about viola, but it's such a beautiful instrument and it's not easy to play, and I can't play viola, so I just give props to everyone who does. Happy practicing, and violinists, you really should get better at viola.
With TwoSet's channel size, the jokes they make aren't just for musicians to laugh about in their little niche anymore. They're now for millions of people, and with great power comes with a great responsibility to watch your words. By all means, they can carry on with their musical jokes and viola jokes and making fun as much as they want to, but not until they provide enough positive context for their audience first. If you're still here, I'd like to thank you all for bearing with me. This is a drastically different video than what I've ever done, and I'm discussing a risky topic as well. So thanks for being the guinea pigs for my first content experiment. I know I also have a bad habit of ditching the channel for 5 months at a time when my spring semesters get tough, but it's what happens when YouTube is your hobby, not your job. I'll try to take advantage of my summer to create a stockpile of videos to release when the going gets tough, but I want to thank the couple thousand of you who have stuck around to wait for my content as long as it takes. Even if I can't dominate YouTube with my lack of uploads, I want to produce the best content I possibly can for all of you out there. I'll see you all again at some point in the future, and as I always say,
smash the Smith.
You know what? I think you all are strong, independent humans who don't need to be told what to do. Just do what feels right to you. I'll see you all soon.